So we are back for, I guess, episode 2 of kind of like the bringing the YouTube videos back, and today we're in for a push session. So I'm going to try and get like my different sessions as we go along through them, just so we're not like filming the same session over and over. But yeah, today's push, and the kind of thing that I'm going to touch on today is something that I've had to do with my training since restarting back up with Cuba, and that's just like resetting all my movements and actually sacrificing load for the sake of form and technique, and then using the fact that I've reset that to then be able to push up, get even stronger, and essentially make more progress, because I think it's something that helps a lot of guys who are in the gym. And obviously we've had the announcement from Boris, it was last night as we are now, but when you're watching this it'll probably be like a week later, but we've got a date for gyms reopening in the UK, which is brilliant. And I think what I'm going to touch on today is something that a lot of people training from home could take something from, in terms of resetting movements, resetting your form and technique, and actually being in a better place when it comes to your training for the time the gym's open, and then setting yourself up basically to make more progress, because a lot of you guys are going to have limited kit, or you're going to have to have at least gone back to very basic movements, and now is a great opportunity for you to kind of like reset those movements. So a couple of the tips and stuff like that we're going to touch on today should be able to help you guys out. So like I said in the last video, a lot of this kit I've used before, which is good because obviously I'm used to the kit and whatnot, but I also had like numbers set that I was like, right, I know I can go back in and get that. Like the prime incline, when me, Cuba and AJ ran this, I ran numbers up a lot higher than what I'm doing now, which is frustrating because obviously I just want to be back there, but at the same time it's like I can look at the way I was moving then and the way I'm moving now and see how much more efficient I can be. Cuba's drilling me at the minute on the way that I'm moving in sessions. I send him a lot of form videos and we just make sure that everything's correct. So in one sense it's good because I've got goals to aim for with better form, which is what I'm going to try and do, but at the same time when I first came in, I was very focused on what I had done before, whereas I've now had to scale a lot of things back. Basically the first set of form videos I sent over to Cuba, he was like, we just need to strip it all back, and that's kind of like a big kick in the ego sometimes, but it's necessary as well. So yeah, this is one movement that I really have reset and just built it back up from the ground up, starting to build some momentum again with all these movements. But I think the biggest thing and the biggest tip when it comes to resetting movements is just trying to ignore your ego. We've all probably been stronger before in some areas than we have others, and stronger at other times than we are right now. And I think that forgetting about that is probably one of the best things you can do, because it gives you like the full focus to be able to reset, which is where I'm at now, which is nice. So yeah, just understand that leaving your ego at the door is a very good thing. Just because one guy can bench 4 plates and you can only bench 2 plates or whatever, it does not make them a better bodybuilder. It does not make, it doesn't work like that in this game. It is always about you and how you can progress your lifts. If you're beating what you did last time, moving better than you did last time, they're the wins that you want to be chasing after. top and back offset, 1 rep up. I think the biggest thing I'm thinking about when I'm doing these is making every rep look the same. One thing I've done in the past is like 5 or 6 really quick, perfect reps, and then 3 or 4 where you change the depth because you want to get them and you take a lot longer between the reps, and I'm trying to make every set, warm-ups included, look exactly the same. So another tip for not necessarily resetting your movements, but keeping your movement as good as you want it to be, is utilising your warm-up sets a little bit more. I see a lot of people just like bouncing through warm-up sets, not moving how they're gonna in their top set. And in my opinion there, you're wasting opportunity to drill that form into your head. Like from the start, from no weight on the bar to 1 plate to 2 plates to 3 plates, the form has been exactly the same. My tempo's been exactly the same. The intent and my breathing has been exactly the same. And if you treat your warm-ups exactly how you're going to treat your top set, by the time you get there, 1, it's not going to feel as hard and as shocking in your body because you've been drilling that movement in like the routine. And 2, you're going to find it a lot easier to keep yourself moving exactly how you want to, because that's kind of like the only way your body's used to moving. I feel like the reason a lot of people move wrong, no matter what movement it is, like a leg press, bench press, bent over rows, anything, is simply because you don't move the way you want to move enough. You don't do enough repetition of the way you want to move, and I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, which is why utilising your warm-up sets in this fashion can be extremely helpful. So another reason why I've had to like be a lot more mindful of the way I'm moving is a lot of my programming now has like pauses and X amount of second eccentrics and things like that in. So obviously I want my form to be good regardless. But because of that, I'm having to really look at like spending, like this is going to be a 1 second pause in the stretch position on the second set. So I want to make sure that there's a difference between the set that I'm doing with no pause and then the set that I'm doing with a 1 second pause, because that is how my programming is set up. So obviously this is going to be different depending on your programming, but a tip if you've got or want to utilize eccentrics and pauses and things like that is if you're going to set them, you actually have to do them and differentiate between them. Like some people have got like a 1 second pause and like a 3 second pause, and if you pause that actually for the same amount of time, it's not really worth even setting it, is it? So you have to be thinking about specifically like what you've got programmed or what you're trying to get out of the set, and then follow it that way. So with this prime press now, we're going to overload the stretch position by loading the top and the middle range. First set, no pauses, and on the second set you'll see me do a 1 second pause in the stretch, and there's going to be an evident difference between the two, and obviously that is because that's what I'm being told to do. So with this, again, there's quite a differentiation between the two sets. So the first set, we're going to spend 3 seconds in the stretch, and the second set, we're going to spend 1 second in the stretch and 1 second in the contracted position. So we're getting a lot out of one exercise here by doing the 2 sets in the way that we are. but at the same time, like I've been saying, you have to make sure your execution's on point to get the evident differentiation. If on the first set, where I'm supposed to be stretching for 3 seconds, if I get carried away, turn them stretches into 1 second stretches, you know, I've lost the momentum of the exercise there. Half the set's different to the other half of the set. So finding that continuity within your sets is it's important, definitely, to progress. Not only like just physical progress, but in terms of applying progressive overload to your training. You couldn't class it as progressive overload if 1 week you were doing 3 seconds in the stretch, the next week you were doing 1, then you were doing 2. It's too back and forth. You want to execute movements exactly the same every week, and that's probably one of the biggest things I've learned over the last 4 weeks of training. And the visual progress I've made in the last 4 weeks is probably the most I've ever made in a 4-week period. I do put it a lot down to the way I'm moving, the way I'm training, and my intent going into the sessions now. Normally I have Max to help me get in this one, but that's when we're not videoing, so again we're sacrificing that for the video. Three sets, one more. We're gonna rest pause this, so it's only one set, but a rest pause, so 2 failure points now. So we're just gonna go working set, rest for 10 big breaths, take it to failure, rest again, take it to failure. Worst time for the music to go off, isn't it? Trying to get into this now. Need Max to start singing for me. Yeah, I know, and we're still here for that. Hopefully. Triceps done. This session's been pretty chest dominant. I just finish off now with 2 sets of side raises because this is my chest dominant push day. So on my shoulder dominant push day there is a lot more side delt work. We do them first as well, so there's a little bit more emphasis on those actual sets. But for this one we've done a high incline press, which was slightly shoulder focused, more just top line focused, and then we're going to do 2 sets of side raises now. With side raises, especially on a machine like this, a standing machine, I always like to use straps, just so I've got a bit of a better grip of the weight itself. Simply because if I'm having to focus too much on keeping hold of the weight, there's a good chance that I'm going to lose connection or potentially lose connection with the muscle I'm using. So if I can minimise that, it's perfect.